Hello everyone, I am Assistant Professor Janice Bhavsar from Department of Computer Engineering, Silver Oak University. Today we are going to talk about SQL concepts in database management systems. Aggregate functions, built-in functions, string functions, set operations, subqueries, correlated subqueries, joins, and clauses like exist, any, all, having will be discussed during the video today. What are the learning objectives? Why do you need to learn all these topics? So, it is important to learn the aggregate functions for understanding the concept of aggregate functions like count, sum, average, max and mean, and to learn how to use these aggregate functions to perform calculations on groups of rows. While for the built-in functions, it is to explore various available built-in functions in structured query language like mathematical functions, date and time functions, string functions, and to understand how to apply built-in functions to manipulate and analyze the data. Let us now move towards the string functions. They are useful to master string manipulation. It offers the functions like concat, substring, length. These functions are useful to learn how to use string functions to modify and extract information from text data. While set operations are useful to understand operations like union and intersect and to learn how to combine and compare data sets using set operations. The concepts of subqueries will be discussed to practice incorporating subqueries in the select statement. Correlated subqueries will be discussed to understand correlated subqueries and their differences from regular subqueries, and to learn how to write and use correlated subqueries in various scenarios. Next, we will be discussing joins to explore different types of joins like inner join, left join, right join, full join, and to understand how to connect and retrieve data from multiple tables. We will also be discussing clauses like exists, any, and all. These clauses will be discussed to understand their applications and how to use these clauses in conjunction with the subqueries. Having clause will be discussed to grasp the purpose of having clause in SQL and to learn how to filter grouped data using the having clause. Let us start with the aggregate functions first. As I said earlier, there are 5 different types of aggregate functions: sum, average, count, max and mean. So let's start with the first function, that is the sum function. Sum function returns the total sum of a numeric column. What is the syntax of it? Select sum, in bracket we have to specify the column name from table name where the condition that we need to put in. Over here we need to make sure that the table name and column name that we are specifying has to be existing table and column name. Then and only then the function will be able to return the values. Otherwise it will give us an error. Let's now move towards the next function, that is average function. Average function returns the average value of a numeric column as per the name suggests. So again, what is the syntax of it? Select avg in bracket column name from table name where condition. Next is the count function. Count function returns the number of rows that matches a specified criteria. Syntax: select count in bracket column name from table name where condition. Over here you can see that I have used where condition with all the functions. If you wish, you can also not use the where condition and you can put the queries without the where condition as well. Over here I have given you an example for each and every functions defining the syntax of it on the slides. You can also use these queries without using the where condition as well. Now let's move. Let us now talk about the two remaining aggregate functions, that are mean function and max function. Mean function returns the smallest value of the selected column, just as per the name suggests. So what is the syntax of the mean function? Select mean in bracket column name from table name where condition. For the max function, it returns the largest value of the selected column. Again, the syntax is select max in bracket column name from table name where condition. I can use the queries without putting the where condition over here. It is not necessary to always put the where condition, but you need to make sure that the table name and the column name that you are using has to be existing table and column names in the database. Otherwise, the query will not be executed. It will give an error. Structured Query Language or SQL provides a number of built-in functions as well. These functions are already built and stored in the SQL. You just need to call them and use them properly as per the syntax. This list of functions contains numeric, date, string and some advanced functions. These functions can be used with the select command. Select command is very much useful and in SQL. Some of the built-in numeric functions are absolute, greatest, power, round, square root. Let's now discuss all of these functions in detail. So absolute, it returns the absolute value of a number. What is the syntax of it? ABS in bracket number. Greatest returns the greatest values out of the list of a argument. So what is the syntax of it? Greatest in bracket argument 1, argument 2, argument 3 and so on. Power function. It returns the value of a number raised to the power of another number. Again, the syntax is power in bracket base comma exponent. Next function is round function. It rounds a number to a specified number of decimal places. In syntax, you need to specify the number and the number of decimal places that you want to round it up. Next function is square root function. The syntax is sqrt in bracket number and the function will return the square root of the given number. Some of the built-in date functions are current underscore timestamp, date diff, day, month, year. Let's start with the timestamp function. It returns the current date and time in a YYYY-MM-DD HH:/MM:SS.MMM format with the system timestamp. Next function is dateDiff function. It returns the difference between two dates. So what is the syntax of dateDiff function? DateDiff function accepts three arguments. The first one is interval. Second one is date 1 and the third one is date 2. Next function is day function. It returns the day of the month from 1 to 31 for a specified date. You need to give the date and it will give you the day of that particular month. Next is the month function. If you need to extract month from a given date, then you can use this function. It returns the month part for a specified date. The number obviously it stands between 1 to 12. Year function returns the year part of a specified date. You need to give the date in the year function and the year would be returned. Syntax says year in the bracket, date and semicolon. Here semicolon is important to put after each and every query in form to avoid your errors. Some of the built-in string functions are ASCII, concat, length, replace and substring. Let's talk about them. ASCII returns the ASCII value for a specific character. What is the syntax? ASCII in bracket you can specify the character. Next function is concat function. It adds two or more string together. Syntax says concat in bracket string 1, string 2, string 3 up to string n. Next function is len function. It returns the length of a string. Len in bracket string. Replace. Replace function replaces all occurrences of a substring within a string with a new substring. So replace in bracket string, old string and new string, and it will replace the substring with a new substring. Next is the substring function. What does it say? It extracts some characters from a string. The syntax is substring, string, start and length. Let's now talk about the advanced built-in functions. A list of advanced built-in functions are cast, convert, if, is null, is numeric. Cast function converts a value of any type into a specified data type. The syntax is cast in bracket expression as data type as length. Next is convert function. It converts a value of any type into a specific data type. Next is if function. It returns a value if a condition is true or another value if the condition is false. Next function is null. It returns a specified value if the expression is null. Remember over here, it returns a specified value if the expression is null. Next function is numeric. It tests whether an expression is numeric or not. Let us now move to the set operations. The first one is union. The union operator is used to combine the result sets of two or more select statements. Every select statement within union must have the same number of columns. The columns must also have similar data types. The columns in every select statement must also be in the same order. For example, if I want to select a few columns from table 1 and union it with a few columns of table 2, then the query will be written as select column name from table name union select column name from table 2. Both of these tables and the columns has to be existed in the database management system. Then and only then the union function will work. Next is the intersect operator. The intersect clause or intersect operator is used to combine two select statements but returns rows only from the first select statement that are identical to a row in the second select statement. This means intersect returns only common rows returned by the two select statements. Let's talk about an example for the same. Select column 1 from table 1 where condition intersect. Select column 1 from table 1 with the where condition. Now let's move on to the minus operator. Minus operator returns all the rows of the first select statement which are not common to the rows of the second select statement. The oracle minus operator is used over here. After the subtraction process, the minus operator returns the uncommon or unique records from the corresponding rows of the first select statement. There are, however, two mandatory conditions for using the minus operator in Oracle. Let's talk about the syntax first. Select expression 1, expression 2 up to expression n from table 1 where condition minus select expression 1, expression 2, expression n from table 2 with the where condition. What is a subquery? A subquery or an inner query or a nested query is a query in a query. SQL subquery is usually added in the where clause of the SQL statement. Subqueries are an alternate way of returning data from multiple tables. Subqueries can be used with the following SQL statements along with the comparison operations like equal to, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, etc. So what is the syntax of it? Syntax says select first name, last name, subject from student details where games not in cricket, football. Next is select ID, first name from student details where first name in Rahul or Stephen. See over here what is happening is I am giving a query specifying a condition where there is another query. So let's discuss this. Here in the first syntax we discussed that where games not in cricket and football. But what I am saying is that the first query will only be executed while the second query is executed. In the second syntax, while I am selecting ID, first name from student details, I need to first check that the first name should be Rahul or Stephen. Then and only then I would be able to select the first name from student details. Let's now move forward. A query is called correlated subquery when both the inner query and the outer query are interdependent. It means that they are not dependent on one another. For every row processed by the inner query, the outer query is processed as well. The inner query depends on the outer query before it can be processed. Let's talk about the syntax of the correlated subquery to understand this in detail. Select p.product name from product p where p.product id equals to select o.product id from order items O where o.product id equals to p.product id. So over here what I have done is I have given two select statements. In that the inner subquery is select orders from order items while the outer subquery is select product name from product, which are two different subqueries. This is forming a correlated subquery. There are two different types of correlated subquery, in that the first one is nested subquery, where user can nest as many queries as the user want, but it is recommended not to nest more than 16 subqueries in Oracle. Second one is non-correlated subquery. If a subquery is not dependent on the outer query, then it is called as non-correlated subquery. Now let us discuss about the joins. Inner join. Let's start off it. Inner join returns records that have matching values in both the tables. What is the syntax? Select column name from table 1, inner join table 2 on table 1 dot column name equal to table 2 dot column name. Here you need to have at least one column from both the tables which are same, using which you can join two different tables. Left outer join. It returns all the records from the left table and the matched records from the right table. It is not going to give you the output of those data which does not match with the left table. So what does the syntax say? Select column name from table 1, left join table 2 on table 1 dot column name equal to table 2 dot column name. Right outer join returns all records from the right table and the matched records from the left table. The remaining records from the left table will not be shown. The syntax specifies select column name from table 1, right join table 2 on table 1 dot column name equal to table 2 dot column name. Next is the full outer join. It returns all records when there is a match in either left or right table. Syntax is select column name from table 1, full outer join table 2 on table 1 dot column name equals to table 2 dot column name. Now let's start discussion about the operators. The exists operator is used to test for the existence of any record in a subquery. The exist operator must return true if the subquery returns one or more records. Syntax is select column name from table name where exist select column name from table name with a where condition. Over here I have used two different select statements with the exist operator. Now let's discuss about the any operator. So what does the any operator do? The any operator allows users to perform a comparison between a single column value and a range of other values. The any operator returns a boolean value as a result. It returns true if any of the subquery values meets the condition. Any means that the condition will be true if the operation is true for any of the values in the range. Let's talk about a syntax of it. Select column name from table name where column name operator any select column name from table name with the where condition. The operator must be a standard comparison operator which can be any one of them out of equal to, less than, greater than, not equal to, less than equal to, greater than equal to, which is also shown in the slide itself. Let us now talk about the all operator. The all operator allows users to perform a comparison between a single column value and a range of other values. It returns a boolean value as a result. It will return true if all the subquery values meet the condition, and it will be used with select, where and having statements. All means that the condition will be true only if the operation is true for all the values in the range. Let's talk about the syntax of it. Select all column names from table name where condition. The operator must be a standard comparison operator as shown on the slide. Moving forward to the having clause. Having clause is a very useful one in database management system. It can be used with aggregate function, order by clause and where condition as well. So what is the syntax of it? Select column name from table name where condition group by column name having condition order by column names and the semicolon. Let us now summarize what we have learned in this video. This video aimed to provide a solid foundation in SQL by covering the key topics, ensuring the viewers to have a comprehensive understanding of aggregate functions, built-in functions, set operations, subqueries, correlated subqueries, joins, and various important clauses in the structured query language. Thank you everyone.